So in this episode, we're gonna talk about why your video looks a little bit amateur, and I'm gonna share with you 3 easy ways to fix it. So at the end of this video, you will realize like you are doing these mistakes. And so welcome back, and nice to see your smiling face again. Although I don't really see your face, but it sounds like, or it feels like you're smiling right now. Anyways, in this episode, I'm gonna share with you why your video looks a little bit amateur and how you can fix it. So I'm gonna share with you 3 easy ways so that you can fix this one. So tip number 1 is that no matter how expensive your camera, no matter what kind of camera you have, whether it's expensive or you have a cheap camera, you need to have a good lighting. So what if you don't have a budget to buy a professional light that can light you up while you're shooting your video? Now, a good way for you to have a good lighting is go around, anywhere in your house and find a big window. And that way you will have a great source of light that you can use while you're shooting your video. Because no matter how expensive your camera is, or no matter what camera you have right now, if you don't have a good lighting, that will ruin your video, or that will ruin your footage. And that's basically why your video is so a little bit dark, or sometimes it's a little bit too bright. So think about it. When you shoot your video, always remember, do you have a good lighting with you? Is your face well lit up so that your camera can really capture your face? So those are some of the things that you need to always remember. So that's tip number 1. So tip number 2, especially if you're shooting videos by yourself, you need to have the right composition, especially if your camera doesn't have a flip out screen like those Canon cameras has, or those GH5, GH4 series. But if you have a Sony cameras like I do have right now, and there's no flip out screen, so you need to have another monitor so that you can really monitor your subject, that subject is in frame. So just say, for example, right now when I'm shooting this video, I have a huge monitor up on the camera so that I can monitor myself, because there's no flip out screen in this camera that I have. So I need to have a monitor so that I can see my face, so that I know exactly if I am in frame. Now when you're making your videos and when you're shooting by yourself, no one is helping you to shoot the videos, always remember that at least you are there's still a little bit space on top of my hair. At least you have a little bit space. Make sure that your face or the subject that you have in frame is not just like this, or sometimes like this, and there's a huge space in front of you. Now if you are just facing towards your left, then at least your face is just in the rule of thirds, and I'm gonna show you a grid so that you will know exactly where you will place your face or your head, so that you will be in the right composition. Now if you're facing towards your left, at least leave a little bit of room in front of you, or in front of the subject. And if you're facing towards your right, then at least make a little bit room, okay? If the subject is facing towards the right and then your composition is just like this, and that's very odd, because you just wasted a lot of room behind you, or behind your subject. So always remember that when you are framing yourself, or when you are framing your subject, always remember that at least observe this rule of thirds. That's why there is a grid line in your camera, so that you can use that to guide you where to place the face or where to place the eyes of your subject. So always remember that composition is very crucial when it comes to framing your subject or framing yourself while you are shooting your own videos. And you always need to remember that when you are shooting your videos and when you are really talking to the camera, you can really go a little bit closer if you want to tell a really good point, because that will tell you that this information is very crucial. So you need to make sure that your composition is a little bit right in frame, okay? Should be almost perfect. You don't need to be, you don't need to perfect it, but almost perfect. Back to the point. So let's say just like that. Okay, so if you're a little bit, too far away from your lens or from your composition, then it feels like I'm too far away. But the connection between you and me that you're watching this right now, it's a little bit far, right? Because just think about it. It's just like I'm far away. But if I'm closer, and then I'm gonna talk with you a little bit slowly, and my tone of voice is a little bit lower so that I can really emphasize what I'm saying right now. So those are some of the tips that I can share with you, and that is tip number 2. So tip number 3 is that you need to be present. Now, especially if you're just, shooting videos by yourself and no one else is around, you cannot really avoid, you're just gonna be talking to your camera. So when you're shooting videos for yourself or just by yourself, no one is there with you, no one is watching you, just try to visualize that you're just talking to another person, or you are just talking to another friend or to another family member, so that you will be present while you are talking. And this is very crucial when it comes to giving some advice or giving some tutorial or anything. When it comes to shooting yourself just by yourself and shooting videos, always remember to just be present. You don't need to be act weird. You don't need to do anything, crazy. So another tip that I want to share with you is that when you're talking to your camera, don't look at the monitor, or else your eyes is out of the way. Okay? Sometimes the monitor is on the right side, sometimes it's on the left side, sometimes it's on top and the bottom of the camera. But when you're talking to the camera, always make sure or always remember that you are looking straight to the lens, and just try to look as far as you can, okay? As far as your eyes can focus on. And when you're looking at the lens, the people who are watching your video is just basically, they feel that they're looking at your eyes straight away. So when you're talking to the camera, don't look at the monitor, don't look at the monitor in your right or left or down. Just look at the lens, okay? And that's one of the advantage if you don't have monitor. But disadvantage is you don't know if you're on a frame. You don't know if you have the right composition. But one of the advantages, you are not forced to look at your monitor because you don't have monitor to look at. Now, you now have to focus on just looking at your lens. So those are some of the 3 tips that I can share with you right now so that you can level up the quality of your videos. And at least your videos will not look like, amateur. And hopefully those 3 easy ways to fix it will really help you to level up the quality of your video so that you will be more comfortable when you are making your video in the next, maybe tomorrow or another day. Okay, so I hope you learned something today, and if you do, don't forget to smash that subscribe button, ring the bell so that you'll get notified every time I post a brand new video. Because let's face it, every time I post a brand new video and you are not subscribed and you didn't hit the ring or the bell, then you will not get notified unless you go to my channel and stuff, right? So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. I know it's also working, and I guess that's all for now. So I hope you learned something in this episode, and I'll see you tomorrow. Ciao for now.